Autumn came to the island of Sodor, and with it came the rain. It pounded down on the engines of the Fat Controller's railway, making work miserable. Oh, I should only be allowed to work in the good weather. Oh, cheer up, lad. At least we aren't on the rash line right now. Oh, yes, of course. I'd hate to be working there in this weather. While things on the Mainland were dire, things on Thomas's branch line were even worse. They sat in a valley prone to seasonal flooding. Flash flooding was common, but so too were landslides. As such, the branch line's manager had gotten someone to keep the rails along the cliffs safe. Now that the weather prevented farming, Terrence's owner leased him out to the Fat Controller's railway to help. He and the workmen chugged up and down the most dangerous stretches of the branch line, looking for any sign of danger. Toby had seen Terrence around before, but had never been formally introduced. One miserable October day, a few days after Terrence's reassignment, Toby arrived to the river station to find Thomas chatting with the orange tractor. Thomas quickly made the introductions. Toby, this is Terrence. He works at that farm near the tunnel. Managers assigned him to look after our line to make sure it's safe from landslides and floods. A pleasure to meet you. But why didn't the manager just get another engine to do it instead? Because I can move off the line when one of you approaches instead of you having to wait for me to dash for a siding. It's much more efficient. Well, I suppose there is that. Toby chuckled as Thomas left. Terrence suddenly remembered something. You must be the new engine, the one Thomas and Bertie have told me about. Yes, I am. My name's Toby. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Toby, but I must be off. We've been worried about that cliffside down south. Cheers! And with that, Terrence chugged off. Toby chuckled. That tractor seems nice.
Yes, but I get a weird feeling about him.
How so?
He's awfully slow. I'm just afraid in an emergency he won't be able to move out of the way.
That is worrying, Henrietta, but I'm sure there's nothing to fear. Terrence is keeping our rails safe after all.
Yes, I suppose.
For the next few days, Toby would pass Terrence, inspecting the cliffs and embankments with the gangers. He would always give a cheery ring on his bell. Terrence dragged away trees and the workmen moved earth that seemed ready to collapse. Many days passed and Terrence began to get a little puffed up. Ready for anything. With my Caterpillar tracks, there's no danger to me, he would say. The other road vehicles just rolled their eyes when he said this. But Bertie took it personally. He'd complained to Toby and Thomas at the top station. However, one morning, Bertie came to the top station looking most cheerful. The weather was worse than ever before. What's happening with you, Bertie? Terrence stopped bragging.
Even better.
He wasn't at the bridge when I passed, so I didn't have to listen to him today. Toby looked concerned with this news. That might not be good. You know where he is? Haven't a clue. Toby departed the station looking very concerned. Henrietta tried to comfort him.
He's probably off somewhere taking shelter from the bad weather.
I'm not too sure about that, Henrietta. When Toby passed through the cutting, he scanned the surroundings for a sight of the little orange tractor, but he saw nothing. He passed through the river station. He was supposed to meet Thomas there, but there was no sight of him either. As he left, he saw a few workmen covered in mud arrive at the platform. He swung around the bend south of the station, and there it was. A giant mudslide had come down into the depression next to the tracks from the hillside. There was no sight of Terrence. Where is he? He should be here.
Maybe he broke down on the road.
Terrence! Terrence, are you here? A muffled voice shouted back from the earth. Toby looked in shock as a workman ran down from the hillside. We were expecting the hill when it came down on us. Oh my lord, is anyone hurt? No, we all got out, but some of us went to warn the passenger train and others went to stop you. The rest of us are up there. Good lord, man, get them inside, Henrietta. Sam, get the wench from the guard. Oh, I always told him that having that thing was pointless. Well, I guess you were wrong, laughed the driver. The gangers took cover in Henrietta while a passenger gave them hot drinks. The crew dug around and attached a wench to Terrence. With an almighty heave, Toby dragged the little tractor out of the mound of earth. Once he was out of the mud, Terrence thanked Toby profusely. Thank you, Toby. You might not know it, but I probably deserve that. Oh, I know. Betty's been complaining our ears off about you. What ears? The two traveled back to the river station, where Bertie waited to take the passengers on. You do look lovely, Terrence. The tractor just looked down at the rails. Toby and Thomas worked all afternoon to clear the line. When they finished, they returned to their sheds. Terrence came with them. He was put on a flatbed and left in an empty berth of the shed. His engine was clogged with mud and needed to dry out before it could all be removed. Bertie arrived at the sheds and the four friends talked about races, rain, and mud all night long.